Go. Hey everyone, it is Apryl Schlueter. I am the author of Finding Success and Balance, My Journey to the Cheerful Mind, and I'm here with Jeff Sandquist, who is going to interview me today to talk all things book, all things author, all things the Cheerful Mind. And he's one of my dear, dear friends. He is an expert host. And so I kind of wanted to turn the tables around and have him interview me. He was my very first podcast interview, and now he's going to turn the tables and not turn the tables, but interview me again now that I'm an author. And I just wanted to share this with you. If you haven't bought the book, or if you have bought the book and love it and want to see more, if you're still thinking about buying the book, I'm hoping that this little interview gives you some clarity on that. I don't really have a script. I have no idea what Jeff's going to ask me. I don't even really know what I'm going to say. So anything is possible here, and I just hope that I don't make a fool out of myself. But yeah, so this is the go ahead and ask the author, the tell-all behind the book, the untold story. But we'll see what Jeff has to say. So Jeff, thank you so much for being here with me. I always love getting on the Zoom chat with you and just talking about whatever. So I will turn it over to you.
This is awesome. I'm excited to do this. So I thought that we would start out with a little bit of a game, since I know not only from our previous interactions, but also from your book, of course, that fun is one of your key values in life, one of your top priorities. And so I want to start out with a little game that I did with another friend on his podcast recently, and it was very fun. It was very interesting. And we've known each other now probably about a year, I think. And I feel like I know you pretty well from all of our interactions, but I'm sure I'm going to learn some new things, and I guarantee we're going to learn some things too. So the game is 37 questions in 7 minutes or less. And there's no official game rules. I just made this up. That's what my friend Mike, when I did this with him, he answered all these in about 7 minutes. So the goal is to beat that. And I know you are also a bit competitive as well. So
exactly.
You just let me know. You ready to go?
Are you running the timer, or do I have to?
Why don't you run the timer? We can get this started.
Okay, hold on a second. So I remember when I was listening to your podcast interview, I was thinking about, what would I say in that, and how fast would I say it? So we'll see. And then I'll have to tell Mike when I tell him, see if I beat him. But competition is on. All right, so 7 minutes. And okay, you tell me when to press go.
Ready, set, go.
Go.
What did you think you wanted to be when you grew up, when you were a kid?
I wrote in my yearbook that I wanted to be a journalist or a model.
Do you have any nicknames?
Apes. A couple that I probably shouldn't share, but Apes is probably the big one. Zarate Chop is another one that I use for fence.
Zarate Chop. I like that one.
Yeah.
Greatest achievement, since achievement is also a value of yours.
Oh my goodness. Greatest achievement, having 2 kids.
Good one.
Yeah.
Something most people wouldn't expect about you.
I'm so random. Oh, what do people not expect about me? That I sang on a stage with a country singer, and I'm not a big fan of country.
Something you find fun that most people don't.
Any thrill-seeking activity, so probably jumping off cliffs or doing something that makes you scream.
Weirdest or most unique job you've ever had?
Most unique job. I, for maybe 2 weeks, tried to sell, I don't know, have you heard of these things like Cutco knives, where they're like these fancy knives, and the scissors that can cut through the penny? Yeah, I did that for a little bit.
Nice. Any tattoos or piercings?
Had piercings. One, my parents don't know that I had, so I'm going to not share that, but I had a belly button piercing when I was a teenager.
Call, text, email, or a handwritten letter?
Call.
Favorite color?
That goes without saying. Purple.
Hence the book, hence the shirt.
Yes. I love
Favorite
it.
animal?
Favorite animal. I think it's a dolphin. I think. Watch
Coffee
out.
or tea?
Tea. No more
Mac
coffee.
Mac or PC?
Definitely a Mac.
Favorite food?
Favorite food, sushi, without a doubt. And all my close friends know that because we will always go to a sushi restaurant.
Love sushi myself. Early bird or night owl?
I don't know what I am right now. I'm probably night owl by default, but I'm trying to retrain myself to be a early bird. So we'll see.
One person, alive or dead, you would love to have a chat with.
Oh, I know you asked this to Mike and he had trouble trying to figure out. One person, alive or dead. I think I'd probably default to, there's so many people. I would, let me just do this because hopefully if this is a wish list thing that if it could happen in my near future, I would die. I want to interview, I'm just going to say it. John Mayer is my favorite music artist at current, and so I would want to interview him.
Very cool.
I do it in my dreams, but so what's the concept behind that song? There's my journalist coming out, right?
Right. Watch the movie or read the book?
Watch the movie for sure.
One person that has made a huge positive impact on your life other than your parents or your husband?
I mentioned him in the book at the very end of the acknowledgments, but somebody who kind of served as a mentor, his name is Paul Corona. We worked together at Northwestern, and he was kind of the person who helped me realize that I was capable of a lot more and I wasn't chasing after it. So I would say him.
One book that has made a huge impact on your life?
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. This is bad because I know you know that I don't read like a gazillion books. I think that one of the very first books that I actually read that was actually personal development related was this book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff.
Yep.
Because everything used to be a very, very big deal before. And when I realized, after I read that, I was like, oh, I'm being a drama queen.
It's a great book, and actually I took some of the same things away as well. Yeah, it's a great book.
Awesome.
Yeah, I lost my place. Favorite season?
Favorite season has to be summer. That's where I burn all my energy.
Pet peeve?
Pet peeve. It's not like nails on the chalkboard, but I always equate it to that. What is my biggest pet peeve? I just say really sucky people. That's what it is right now.
Favorite sport or physical activity?
Flying trapeze for physical activity.
Favorite type of music?
Favorite type of music. I am a pop diva girl enthusiast. So sorry to all of you people out there who like other things.
I'm a sucker for pop music. Favorite type of game or fun activity?
Favorite type of game or fun activity. I like anything that involves I really like 30-day challenges.
Okay.
I think because it's long enough and there's just something that you can do all day or for an entire month, and you experience a lot of different things in that. So,
any broken bones or stitches?
No.
Oh.
No broken bones. Stitches? No. Nope.
Favorite or most unique place you've traveled?
Favorite place I've traveled, I would say Hawaii is probably my favorite. And then just traveling back to the Philippines is always fun too.
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure, reality TV. Maybe I shouldn't mention which shows. For the little bit of TV that I watch, but it's comical. Oh, did I?
Whoa! Is that 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, Mike crushed you.
Oh, no!
All right, we got to keep going.
Okay.
Geekiest or nerdiest interest or hobby?
Nerdiest interest or hobby. God, I love starting new, getting used to like new programs. So like this weekend I geeked out on a new email marketing program and I had fun doing that. So anything technology was.
You need to be geeking out on email marketing.
Yes.
Something still on your bucket list?
Something still on my bucket list. Go to Bora Bora.
Silliest fear? Silliest fear?
That oh God, some of the now that I know that I've lost, I'm like, silliest fear that nobody cares about me at all.
It's not true. Not true. And let's see what else we got. Favorite way to relax?
Favorite way to relax? Massages.
Massages. Beach, mountains, forest, or desert?
Beach.
Walk, run, bike, or rollerblade?
I'll say bike.
Plane, train, automobile, or boat?
Let's say boat.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Dinner.
Who would win in a fight, you or the Karate Kid?
I like want to say me, but probably the Karate Kid.
He's got that crane kick and the sweep the leg, all that good stuff.
Just the mental focus. I might be able to be on par with him there, but not sure. Okay.
Can you give us a quick cheer?
Rah rah sis boom ba.
Oh.
Oh no. You'll have to go look through the television archives or let's go cats. Okay.
Nice. And where do you get all the energy and cheer from?
Sleep. So I guess the more that I sleep, the more energy I have. No, seriously, I think it's just being fueled by the people I surround myself with and just always looking out for that fun, unique, random thing that grabs attention. I love that stuff. So.
Well, that was 37 minutes and 7 minutes and some change.
Oh, I love.
But it was fun.
It was like fun.
I learned some new things.
For sure. Some of those I totally wanted to elaborate on, but I was like, I can't.
That's the hard part. That's
get
like
moving.
go with your gut and then go into it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's talk about the book a little bit.
Sure.
I'm not going to get too deep into all of the nitty gritty because that's honestly why people should read the book because that's the purpose of it. But overall, the themes of the book that I pulled out, and actually it's even, I think, in there somewhere about where to shelve this thing, but it's work-life balance, it's quality of life, it's stress management, it's happiness, it's success, it's all these really big topics. So I am very curious, as you know, from our previous chats and podcasts, etc., but I'm always interested in people's journeys. So did you ever think that you would be an author? Was that on your bucket list? And kind of walk us through what the journey was from getting to the point of got this book and people are buying it.
Yeah. I will say that I never thought that I would write a book. I was the person who had really, really strong math and science scores on my SAT, ACT, and not so good scores in the reading and writing, all that fun stuff. So I never thought that it was my strength. It was one of those things where I wasn't sure if, who'd want to read it anyways, and how long would that take, and how much effort would that be? And now being on the other side and knowing how much time and money and effort I've invested into this, I don't think that I had the mental bandwidth to, feel confident enough to do it. But I'm so glad I did. I'm one of those people that is the, what can't she do? I almost kind of want to be that person who is the representation of what's possible. So, I did not grow up as somebody who was like, I'm going to be this aspiring author. I did want to be a journalist. So I think that that's where some of the overlap is. But I didn't necessarily want to write. I think I wanted to be on TV or something like that. But when I decided to write the book, I remember I was listening to, a telesummit, which is, what I interviewed you for last year. And it was a business focused telesummit. They were talking about the advantages of writing a book. And at the time, I was thinking about, how am I going to grow this business? What is the strategy that I'm going to use? And some of the things that I had heard, it was a conversation about how to write a book in a weekend. And I didn't necessarily think that was possible. But people were doing it, and I don't think that was the right solution for me. But I also thought about, what would that be like to write a book, and, hearing about the credibility and just how things might change, and knowing that it takes me a while to get to the point of a story. I think I mentioned this in the book about how I would just tell stories all the time, and at the very end, people would be like, "Good story," like, because it was 10 minutes later, and I finally got to the point. And so. As this story is now starting to get very, very long, when I got to the point to realize, I should leverage this as an opportunity. If it's gonna take some time for me to get a message across, why don't I just write a book about it? And then I can sell it. It can be my big business card. And there were just a lot of things about writing a book that would serve a lot of the purposes of things that I wanted to do in my business anyways. And so, and it was something that I never thought of doing, that a lot of people want to do, but are scared to do. So, being the person that I am in the situation where I have an engineering background, I just wanted to show people that it is possible. And, I think that it's actually really well written. All the words are mine. Of course, I had editors help me, but it is 100% my voice. And I'm just, amazed at how it came out. And I'm kind of impressed and like, oh my God, I actually wrote that. Because sometimes when I read it, I can't even believe that this is me, and those are my words, but it totally is. So, it feels really, really great. And I think one of the things that comes out of being an author now is that I just have this confidence that I didn't have before. Yeah, it's been a really, really great learning experience. A lot of fears came up, and they're still there as I'm starting to push it out to the world. But, it's
so
one step.
what are some of those learning experiences that you have? I love lessons from all the different things that we all go through in life. And your voice definitely came through. I mean, that was one of the first things that I texted you after I got done reading it was, yeah, this is definitely you. I could hear you in my head as I was reading. So it was almost like reading an audiobook to myself in some weird way. So your voice definitely comes through. And I think that as people watch this or have other interactions with you, they will easily see as they read the book how clear your voice actually does come through. But what are some of the lessons you learned through the process, or even now after it's come out? What are some of the things you're learning as this is continuing to unfold?
So I think that one of the biggest learning lessons about writing, and then just even taking that step, is the way we downplay how wonderful we are as people. I just thought that this was going to be a big mess, that, my editor was going to have to rewrite everything, and I was just going to throw things on there, and they were going to say, this is bad, you got to change all of this. And, the very first, when I wrote the introduction, that was the very first chapter or section that I wrote. And to hear, having never written anything other than term papers in college and high school, that always felt really boring and, pulling teeth to complete, to hear her feedback, to say, this is really good. I almost didn't want to believe her, because I'm like, I'm not a writer. And, she had to kind of explain to me, you are a writer. This is good stuff. If this is your first step without knowing what it means to write and knowing what you need to do, this is pretty well executed. So, I think that you're in shape. And so, I think that I just realized that I downplayed a lot of my gifts for a really, really long time. And so, as we moved through the book, there were some chapters that took a lot longer to write. And I really, really struggled with, but it was just my mindset playing games with me. And so, just kind of getting into the practice of imperfections, knowing that it's going to be ripped apart and put back together, but because, you're writing this and the editor is there to help make it better. It's not that it's bad to begin with. So, that was probably my biggest lesson. And I think that, it takes a lot of discipline. So if you struggle with time management or discipline, this is one of those things that will rock you to your core. You have to, to actually sit and write 40,000 words. I definitely wrote more than that. That's the length of the book right now. But the many things that got cut and reworded and rewritten over and over and over again, I probably wrote twice as much to get to the point that I was. So you have to really, if you're a perfectionist, which I am, and I know you are, Jeff, recovering perfectionist.
Recovering. We are in recovery.
It is a big practice of just accepting and knowing that it's a process and it's not going to be right from day one. I think that it was a good learning lesson there.
Well, it reminds me of two things. Actually, they're quotes. One is from a guy named Derek Sivers, and he has a quote, something along the lines of, it's obvious to you and it's amazing to me. And I think of that oftentimes and have fallen into the same trap of downplaying my skills, my talents, my gifts, the things that come relatively easy to me that I don't have to work at too hard, or even if I had to work at them a long time ago, they've now become a natural thing. And I always have to remind myself about that. And I think it's a really great lesson to, as you said, remind ourselves of how amazing we actually are, and to let some of that shine through and not be, do it in a humble way, not in a braggadocious type way, but to share what we have to share with the world. So I think that's a great lesson. And the other one was actually a quote in one of the emails that came into my inbox today. And it was, my confidence is in the idea that I may be wrong on this or that. No one in this life should ever have to bear the burden of perfectionism. And that's from somebody named, I believe it's Chris Janey from Heliology or Healology.
I like that.
But just reminded me of you and so many of the conversations that we've had and the topics in the book of this idea of, perfectionism. And then also, as you talk about in here, which I love, and we've talked about this before, this idea that there, as much as black and white as I can be at times, and I think potentially you can be as well, life is gray, and there is no one particular way to be in balance. You have to find out what works for you. So I'm curious if you have any additional thoughts on this whole idea of perfectionism, and also just finding your own particular balance, whatever that may be for you.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, I hear this a lot, the whole concept of balance. As you know, last year when we were doing my Your Life, Your Way series summit, whatever, like what was that again?
Summit.
I interviewed 23 people and asked them, what is your definition of work-life balance, or what does that mean to you? And I knew going in that there were going to be a lot of different answers. A lot of people said, I don't believe in balance.
I was one of them.
I don't think about it as balance. I think about it as harmony, or it's a pendulum swing, or it's, it's a feeling you have, or it's all about X, Y, or Z. And all the answers were different. But a lot of people have resistance to trying to find balance. And I think that that's funny, because for me, it's always been something that I have been striving toward. But when I was going through this whole process of becoming a coach and identifying what my business was, I was trying to sell this concept of, I want to help people find balance in their lives. And this marketing programmer, this one-day camp that I did, they're like, so what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like a well blended and blah, blah, blah. And I kept on talking about the different meanings of it. And he's like, but what does that mean? And I got all the way down to the point where I got so annoyed. And I said, I just want people to have fun, but still get stuff done, because we all have to get stuff done. So but I want it to be fun. And the guy was like, that's what you're selling. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I don't even know where I'm going with this question now, but the whole point of it is that balance can mean so many different things to so many different people. And the people who have resistance to believing that balance exists is because maybe they're thinking about it as, I need to have, I have to be able to rate all of the areas of my life at a 10, and that's balance. And that's not realistic. Right. It can be something that you strive for, sure, but there's always going to be some place that's going to have a pain point, right? Like whenever I'm, working really hard on my business, my health and wellness suffers, and I spend less time with my family. And so it is this, it is this thing that just keeps on moving. But there's also the place of, it does, you don't need to spend 50% of your time on your work and then 50% of your time on everything else. So, there's these people with these like 4-hour work weeks or whatever that is. I enjoy working, and I enjoy working a lot. And I talk about that in the book. So you'll see me at every second when my kids are out of the house, like they are right now. I am working and I love it. But I also know that I really value my family. So the second they get here, we're playing Guess Who on the table, or we're eating dinner and joking around about whatever 5 and 7-year-old boys joke around about. And I make sure I make time for vacation, because I never used to do that before. And so it is really trying to identify what it is for you, and not letting society tell you what balance means. So when people tell me I don't believe in balance, I don't look at them and say like, oh, you're crazy. I respect it, because maybe that's just something that they don't want to strive for, but they're striving for something. And what I am striving for in my, personal space is that balance, and that feeling that comes with the balance, and, being truly happy and knowing that I'm doing the things that I want to in my own way, and not having, my life be dictated by what everybody else is saying that I should be doing, or what everybody else is doing, and comparing myself to them, because that's a tall order.
Yeah.
To be like everyone else. I'd rather be unique and then have no competition. I'm just kidding. But just really, be really happy about where I'm at, and not feeling that I have to measure up to something, because it's stressful. And that's what got me into this position in the first place, of realizing that I needed to turn my life around.
So I think we can probably start wrapping up here a little bit. I got like two questions that I would love for you to answer. The first one is, so who's this book for? I mean, we'd love to just say it's for everyone, it's for anyone, that sort of thing. But, who did you write this book? I'm sure you thought about this. Yeah. Who are you intending to read this book?
Yeah. I would say, it's pretty broad in terms of, specific profile of the person. I think that just me being a working parent, working parents would probably really get benefit out of this book. Maybe working moms more, just because I'm a female as well. But obviously you read it and you liked it, so men like it too. And I've had some other feedback from other males who had said that it really changed their perspective, and they learned a lot about it. But really, it's those people who feel like something's not working, something's not right. They're going through certain motions, and things are generally good, but there's something that's missing, and that is that piece of fulfillment. Are you truly happy with what you're doing? Are you just going to work to go to work, make money, and then you're not? Or is the people who just never feel like they don't have time? Right. I intentionally made the book relatively short because my people don't have time. I will be honest and say that it takes a lot of effort for me to get through books as well. So if you're going to write a 500-page book, I'm likely going to read the first 20 pages. And I've heard other authors say that they'll glance through the first 35 pages. And if you don't catch them in that first 35 pages, it's done. That's reading the book. So it's intended for people who are seeking, what is this work-life balance? Because I hear a lot of people, even though there's a lot of resistance to the concept of balance, people still say they want balance. Right. So people who are just kind of trying to look for a different way of thinking about things. My business is the main focuses are happiness and productivity. So if you feel like you're in a negative space more than you'd like to be, this takes all different areas of life and puts a positive spin on it,
Right.
and figures out how to integrate them in a way that works for you. And then the other aspect is for people who like to operate on goals, people who have big accomplishments and dreams that they want to achieve. And one of the things that I realized in my journey is that the mindset was a huge component of everything.
Mm.
And I got a lot less done in my usual productive life, just thinking logically, until I started to shift my mindset, and then everything started moving way faster. I've only been, the Cheerful Mind has only been around for 2 years. So in that 2 years, I decided I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I started a business. I got a lot of clients, and I wrote a book in 2 years. So imagine how, that mindset shift can impact your productivity. And so I know a lot of people are like, how do you get more things done? It is that meld of, thinking about the mindset, but then also implementing the strategies. So
yeah, and I would just back that up with saying my life changed by changing my mindset as well, and figuring out in my own way, right?
Yeah.
How to become more intentional, how to figure out what my values are, where to spend my time, how to spend my time, all these different pieces that you touch on in the book. And like you said, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, the core ideas of the book you go through in the first chapter. So if somebody only reads the first chapter, they can still get a lot out of this book. And if you're a speed reader like myself, you can finish it in an hour and 22 minutes. But Apryl asked me to time it. Sorry,
yes.
I don't usually time my reading. But regardless, the second question that I have is, I wanted to ask you when we had our first podcast interview, and I think we ran out of time, but one of the big parts of your business, or possibly the biggest part, is the coaching that you do.
Yeah.
And you do touch on this in the book, but if you could just briefly kind of talk about, because I think this is an important thing for people to understand, what's the difference between a coach and a mentor? Because I think sometimes that gets confusing or used interchangeably, and they're not necessarily the same thing. I don't believe either.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different terms out there that are kind of used interchangeably. I mean, we get, mixed up with therapists too sometimes, teachers, mentors. In terms of the difference between a coach and a mentor, a coach is there to kind of tap into your personal values, your personal beliefs, and kind of helping you and guiding you to identify what it is you want for yourself and how you're going to do it. Now, there's a lot of mentorship that happens in coaching as well, because sometimes you find yourself drawn to somebody because they've had certain life experiences that you want to touch on. And so,
right.
I have a plethora of different life experiences that I do infuse into my coaching. But one of the big things that is the difference between a mentor and a coach is that a coach is going to, help you find what works for you and help you implement that. They can give you tools and ideas, but ultimately it is the client's agenda to make sure that, or it is the client's agenda, and it's not driven by what the coach says. So I always preface, here's a way that you can do it, but, that's just my opinion, or that's just, that's my advice, or that's my experience. Whereas a mentor, you're looking at a mentor as somebody who's walked the walk that you want, down the path that you want to go. And you're really looking at the things that they did, and you're mimicking it, and you're following that same path as a means to get to your goal. And so, most coaches are mentors, but the delineation is that the coach is going to say, hey, I'm going to help you get there, but it doesn't, my way is not the highway.
Right.
So that's one of the big things. Now we're not going to necessarily, and some coaches do, but we're not going to necessarily say like, you have all the answers and I'm just going to pull it out of you. But we ask the right questions to help you pull those answers out of you, because we can see things that you might not be able to see for yourself.
Right.
As we've already mentioned, we have these filters up and these expectations of ourselves that are probably not as high as what other people see in us. So, but yeah, just making sure that it is something that you want to do. And I would never force somebody to say, you have to do it this way,
Right.
Or you're going to fail. And we're always going to be, you know, that person that's cheering you on, holding you accountable, and helping you break through some of these mental barriers, but also helping you with the strategy. So that's a lot of what I do in my coaching, and, you know, showing all the options, but really honing in on what works best for that client.
So I guess I said I only had 2 last questions, but I guess I have one more last question. And that is just, where can people find the book? How can they connect with you? I'm turning it back over to you. That's all the questions I have.
Awesome. Yes. And so, Jeff, thank you so much for sharing this time. Yes, it was fun, even though I lost. It's still in my mind, right? So for those of you, you know, if this interview has resonated with you and you haven't bought the book yet, you can easily go to my website, thecheerfulmind.com. There's links to click on the book, but also has more information about me. So that's kind of the one-stop shop. There's a website that is findingsuccessinbalance.com that has just information about the book and where to buy it. That would link you to online stores, or if you want to buy in bulk for all of your friends or whatever, that's also there. But primarily, you know, it's selling on Amazon, a lot of different retail stores. BarnesandNoble.com has it. I think if you tried like Target or Walmart, like it would actually show up, but it's all online stores. You could find it anywhere. You could probably Google it. And if you need more help, or if you're having trouble finding what you want, or having trouble finding the book, you can always email me at any time, Apryl, Apryl, at thecheerfulmind.com. I'm very responsive, or relatively responsive, and it's always me responding to those emails. So it's a direct access to me. And if you have any other further questions on either the book or whatnot, that's fine. If you have read the book, I would love for you and appreciate if you would, you know, share your takeaways either on Amazon, or email me your thoughts, text me if you have my number, all of those things. It is really great to hear that feedback, and then share it, because this is a message that I am so passionate about. I've never been passionate about something in my life. And so I just want people to hear it in any way that they can. So yeah, that's the way that you can reach out to me. I'm on all the social medias.
All the socials.
And so feel free to friend me or follow me, whatever that is. Send me a tweet, post an Instagram photo.
Hang out with RIL.
Yeah. No.
I'll find Apryl RIL.
APRYL. Awesome.
No. In real life. Remember we talked about this the other day.
What?
I'm messing it all up. IRL, in real life.
Oh, in real life. Oh, okay. I was like,
I was probably saying it wrong.
Did you say RIL?
I think so.
Real in life.
Real in life.
Yes. And
either way, find her.
Yeah, and I will be traveling all across the country this year, promoting the book in different ways and doing personal check-ins and touch points. So if you live somewhere that's not Chicago, where I'm based, just shoot me an email. I've had some people ask me, you know, can you come to Boston? And so I've got that on my list. I will be heading to Texas tomorrow, as of when we're videoing this, and I'll definitely make some visits to New York and California and all that, and all the places where my clients are. So yeah, just ask and you shall receive. So
sweet.
Great. All right. So thanks again, Jeff, for being my guest host and interviewing me. And I hope all of you who are watching this have enjoyed it. And let's just have more fun and get stuff done. Have a super, super awesome week. Thanks. Bye.